listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast.
Pittsburgh Piledriver. Rolling cast. We're rolling in like a rolling pulley. Hi, everybody. It's the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast.
Yay!
We're going to do a Tom? We're going to do a pod episode, and we've got some stuff to cover. We took a week off because, holidays and good things and good times and good stuff like that. But we're back to talk about wrestling. We have picks to do for the final show of 2023. This is it. This will determine who enters 2024 as the illustrious Chooserweight champion. I can only hope that it is my boy Beef who takes down all these insolent naysayers, vagabonds, and hobos. Fingers crossed, everybody. Ransom is here. Poot the Bard is here. Beef the Legend is here. Tiger Bomb Tom there? We've got a show to do, and we have picks to do. However, I know what we're gonna. What do you guys want to do first? Picks or some general banter? I don't want to jump into something you don't want to do.
Huh? Yes. Huh?
Okay.
Let's do picks. Let's do picks. Let's do picks.
What?
They want you to take the roles. Let's do picks. Let's knock them out the park here. Hi, everybody. Also, Ransom, I don't know how you've been staggering these shows, but it's been like a month since we recorded. So, anybody, hi.
I do what I want.
I updated the audio. I got it up to date. It's there.
I'm not saying. I'm saying. Ransom was like, I took a week off. We took a week off, and I'm like, I haven't recorded since like fucking before Thanksgiving. I think I don't remember.
Time's a fallacy. Don't worry about
it. So happy Kwanzaa. Actually, I think Ramadan is currently happening.
It's Christmas.
Anyway,
Happy Chrysler.
Let's do picks. Now, before we do picks, we do have to update these standings, which I actually forgot to do until about 30 minutes ago.
Don't do it. Put it somewhere in the middle of the podcast so that people just don't chime in and listen to the beginning or skip ahead and listen to the end. Fit it somewhere in the middle where they're not expecting it. That way they have to listen to the whole diggity darn thing.
I mean, I think
that's
I can assume
right. I weekend as a supervillain. I'm the weekend version of Lex Luthor. Suck it.
You mean like the terrible pop star, or fucking what are we talking about here?
Poot, you're going to be my next victim if you don't watch yourself.
I believe that we can assume that the people who are actually interested in the scores probably listening to the podcast, like open to shut.
I can't deal with you whenever you just shoot down all of my ideas with your blatant logic. Let me live in the fantasy world that I want to live in.
Okay. We'll talk them away.
Do it now. No, it's ruined.
Okay, well,
it's ruined. I'm going back to the whole of justice. It's ruined.
I missed you guys.
I have yet again blown Ransom Door's plans out of the water.
Foiled again.
Here we go.
Curses.
I'll get you next time, Beefy. All right, so the bad news is.
Meanwhile, the doom.
Even there was a whole of justice. Even though I had a decent. Okay, nobody had a good night at NXT Deadline, but
none of us watch it.
My total score at the end of Deadline was 1 point less than Dave's total score going into Deadline. It ain't looking good.
Oh no!
So,
balls.
That being said, Dave didn't have a great night. We actually equaled out on points at Deadline. He had 13, I had 13. Dave's totaling right now 175. Not outside the realm of possibility, but certainly the prohibitive favorite.
Favorite?
And then you hear me, favorite.
Isn't that a member of Gunter's thing? Isn't that favorite Eichner?
No, you got it. You got it.
He took too long to get that insult out.
He tried though.
I'm rusty.
Got to give the boy. You got to give the boy. You got to give the boy some points there. He tried. All right. There's a pretty big log jam in the middle, in second place. So a little bit of behind the scenes magic. We accepted Tom's picks for deadline a little bit late, and we accepted him as saying, "Just give me what Beef picked." And me, being an honorable chap, said, "I'll give you what Poot picked," thinking I don't want you to steal my points, Tombo. Well, I should have given you my picks because I'd still be beating you, but I'm not. So because Poot did so incredibly well at deadline, so did Tom. So Pat, no, I'm sorry. In second place is Amber at 163.
What?
I can't believe it either. But here we are.
This is what your fucking candor gets you. This is what your candor gets you, Beef.
Third place, we have Tom and Pat with 162. Then me at 161. Then there's a little bit of a drop-off. Before you get to Ransom at 147. Poot at 142, despite having the best night at deadline, still crawling out of that basement because his whole like, here, watch this mentality is just going well.
Here, hold my beer.
And then, well, the good news is, Scooby, you cracked 100. You're at 113. You're at 113.
Give it up for the man.
Assuming that nothing miraculous happens here, I think it's pretty safe to say that it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horse race.
Now look,
assuming Tom wants to give picks. Assuming Tom wants to give picks, I gave Tom. We gave Tom a oncer.
Yeah,
I've given a oncer before.
2 housekeeping items here on this. One, that's the last time we're giving. I honestly, I say that's the last time we give anybody a. Just give me the same picks as ...
Yeah, that's not going to become the meta.
No, we're done with that. And 2, that was an exception. There were some things going on. We were happy to do it. But going forward, pick a pick or don't pick a pick. That's what we got to do. And 2, if for some reason Tom submits picks for this and blows it out of the park and wins and goes into 2024 as the Chooserweight champion, there will be an asterisk beside that because of the shenanigans that went down.
I might put a big asterisk on the title and duct tape before I give it to him. Honestly,
spray paint it on so it's harder to get off.
No, I'm not gonna spray paint it. It's a nice belt.
Screw it, spray paint it. Make Dave make a new one.
Our buddy Dave gave us the belt, and I really treasure it because it was something that he didn't have to do, and it really did. So that was it was just very nice. Anyway, so those are the standings. Here are the matches somewhere for Worlds Collide. Nope, Worlds End.
Now this is what it's like when Worlds End.
What worlds?
This will be fun. This will be fun. Participants TBA, a 20-man battle royal for a future AEW TNT Championship match. All participants TBA. No participant has been mentioned. Pick a name. Hook will defend the FTW. Nope. It is the FTW Championship. I forgot that was still a thing. Against Wheeler Yuta. Those are both pre-show, I believe. Maybe not. I can't tell. Eddie Kingston and John Moxley will face off for the inaugural AEW Continental Classic Championship, which is going to be part of the inaugural Triple Crown Championship, which will include Eddie's Ring of Honor World Championship and Eddie's New Japan Strong World Championship. Julia Hart will defend the TBS Championship against Abaddon.
Yes.
Timeless Tony Storm with Luther will defend the AEW Women's title against Riho. Ricky Starks, Big Bill, and the Don Callis family, which is Tenosuke Takeshita and Powerhouse Tobbs. With Don Callis. Will face Le Sex God, which is Jericho and Sammy, and Sting and Darby Allin, who did not fall off of Mount Crumpet apparently. Christian Cage will defend the TNT title against Adam Copeland in a no disqualification match. Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana will face off against Keith Lee in a feud that should have ended fucking 2 years ago, but we're finally getting an end to, so hurrah. Miro will take on Andrade El Idolo with C.J. Parker in his corner, so that's going to be awkward.
Those two are still there?
Right. Collision. Collision's still a thing. Now that sports ball's wrapping up for the season, I'm actually going to get back into it. And MJF is defending the AEW World Championship against Samoa Joey. Those are your matches. You have 10 points, boys. Use them wisely.
Dear Lord.
Nope, I'm the worst.
Okay. Starting, at this point, at this point, honestly, like, what have you got to lose? There is a total of tabulating. Great. 55. That's it. I guess that's still up.
Holy balls!
Points.
Someone's gonna break 200 on this.
Likely. So there's a total of 55 points up for grabs here. So if you swing it right, you could end up just under 200 Poots. So yeah, if you end up with the perfect score, let's go. Battle Royal first, boys.
I'm the fucking worst. I like it. It's like, if you end up with a perfect score on this, you're going to do great. All right, first one. No one fucking knows.
Ransom, who's going first tonight?
Ransom.
Oh.
All right.
I don't want to throw either one of you two under the bus on this one.
No, you're a kind man. The holidays must have gotten to him. His heart has grown 3 sizes, folks.
So it's
still
called
microscopic.
That's elephantitis, boys.
Still drowning in rum.
I have a heart condition. Get it,
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do here. I have no idea what possible person could be in this match. I have no idea.
Put 1 point on it and go fucking nuts.
Say CM Punk. Do it. Say CM Punk.
Okay. So here's my rationale with it. Take it, don't take it, don't whatever. I didn't take into account who's gonna have the TNT title after this. I just thought, okay, and obviously I'm not like, fucking Punk or Goldberg, because like it's not gonna be a main eventer fight, or Danielson. It's not gonna be a main eventer fighting for the TNT title. Clearly. Right. So I went like somewhere in that middle part of the card, and I kind of threw spaghetti at the wall, but it's a 1-pointer for me, which I'm sure it's going to be for everybody, unless Pooh wants to prove me wrong with his big dick swinging attitude.
Oh, there's no big dick swing in here. This is me just going like, I have an idea, and I think it's feasible.
All right. So, Ransom, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Is Darby Allin in a match?
Yes, he's facing the Don Callis family and the tag team champs.
Oh, okay.
He's part of the 4-man foray because Kenny Omega has diverticulitis. You guys remember diverticulitis, the thing that ended Brock Lesnar's UFC career?
Shit.
Yes. No, diverticulitis is no fucking joke.
Like people
gave Dolph or not Dolph, my god, what's wrong with me?
Dolph Lundgren?
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren.
Yep.
I mean, you look at him, he kind of is like Dolph Lundgren if you gave him 50,000 cheeseburgers and steroids. I don't know. I'm having a stroke. Go on, move on.
He dies.
I'm going to put 1 point on the kid whose mom Christian is banging.
Nick Wayne.
Yeah.
That's a good pick. That's a very smart pick. I thought the exact same thing. But then I'm like, you know what? Let's have some fun. I went Mustafa Ali, 1 point.
Oh, this fucking guy. You dickhead.
Can I change my pick to not Mustafa Ali? Or am I locked in?
I think you're about to steal Poot's pick, but go ahead.
Is Dolph signed anywhere?
Son of a bitch!
It's not. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it was coming.
Yeah, 1 point on Nikki. Nikki!
The other Nick that's probably going to be involved. And yeah, that was the other thought that I had. as well. But I went with Mustafa Ali, the younger and more talented version of that.
Wow. Okay, first of all, no shade at Mustafa Ali, but fuck you.
I literally just did Kermit sipping Lipton tea with my Mountain Dew can here.
Yeah, I know, and that was I know, and you're like, I'm sorry, you're wrong. He's younger, but more talented. 1 point on Big Dolph swinging. Like, it's absolutely gonna be. Ransom, give me another one of those. Good enough. I like
it. Until Pete said Mustafa Ali, I forgot about that laundry list of people that was released from WWE and the fact that Dolph Ziggler was one of them.
Like Dolph, I was just like, I think that would be a good introduction to AEW. I think it'd be good. And plus, with this kind of like rogues gallery of 20-man random fucking knuckleheads, like, you know, I was half tempted to say cheeseburger. I was like, fucking why not?
Cheeseburger.
Good old
Honestly,
cheeseburger.
I'm surprised that Poot didn't pick Penta.
No. Hey, listen, I remember.
He's probably going to be in it.
I mean,
he absolutely is. He's definitely not going to win.
No, he's not going to win. I was either going to say Dolph Ziggler, or just because I was like, you know what, if I'm going to really get weird with it, which I don't think I got too outside the fucking box with
no.
What's his kayfabe name?
Nick Nemeth.
Yeah, Nick Nemeth. With Nick Nemeth coming in there.
Nemeth.
The one I was going to say was Speedball Mike Bailey.
That's actually
no, and that's not
his
full given God name.
Mike. Sorry, listen, man. Mike. Anyway.
That's how they named their kids up there in Canada. Speedball Mike Bailey, Kenny the God Omega, Don the Dickhead Callus. That's just
Charles
how they
Ulysses Bungo the Third.
Yeah. How'd you? But yeah, my one point on this is gonna go on Nick Nemeth. Like, I mean, it just I can't.
Yeah, I mean, you want to make sense of it, but yeah, I mean, obviously all those people hanging out there, you know how AEW loves to debut people in battle royals and have them win. I'm looking at you, Brian Cage. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Moving right along, we're seeing Hook defend the FTW title against Wheeler Yuta in an FTW rules match, which I think is just tantamount to a hardcore rules match, but you have to pin in the ring. I think. Maybe not. That was a hiccup. It's me. I'm picking Hook, 4 points. Yeah, that's all we need. That's all I need to say. Hook 4 points.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm gonna go Hook as well, but I'm gonna go a little more bold. I'm gonna say 6 points for 2 reasons.
Fair.
Number one, I feel like keeping that on. I feel like keeping the FTW championship on Hook. Like, I mean, it's not exactly earth shattering. I feel like Wheeler Yuta can at this point eat losses, and we need to keep building Hook back up. But I also am doing it so that I don't get stuck in that weird mire of having 6, 9, and 10 for my final points. You know what I mean?
That's fair. No, that's smart. Look at you thinking ahead. Ransom, who you got?
I'm going to go with Big Hooker for the old 8 points.
8? Wow. Jeez. You guys have a lot more faith in AEW Creative than I do. That's not true. AEW Creative, at least on the pay-per-view level, is pretty solid. It's just everything in between the pay-per-view is kind of, a dice roll. Yeah. Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley faced off in the finals of the Continental Classic, which, by the way, was highly entertaining. Very successful and a lot of fun to watch. If you weren't tuned in, it was basically AEW's version of the G1, which is a round robin tournament where everybody is in each block is guaranteed to face off against everybody else. And at the end, you have your semifinals where the 2 highest people in each block face off, and then you have your finals, the winners of each block. No storylines needed, man. Just good fucking wrestling the whole way about.
And you usually get a good poetic kind of thing like this where it's Kingston Moxley.
My only gripe is that Kingston. So I didn't like them making it part of this whole New Age American Triple Crown thing where Kingston belts were on the line too, because I think that kind of telegraphed how it was going to go. And I was really pulling for Danielson to beat Kingston because I really would love to see Danielson versus Moxley, but I get it. And I don't have a problem with Eddie Kingston. I just feel like there was more money in Danielson versus Moxley, especially since we're in Danielson's final year. But on the flip side, I'm sure that Danielson is probably going to be on his way over to Japan to get ready for Okada at Wrestle Kingdom. So I understand where that's coming from as well. Anyway, Putin, it's your pick. Eddie Kingston versus Moxley for the AEW Continental Classic Championship, the Ring of Honor World Championship, and the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship.
On this one, I am going to... See, now this one, I'm going to kind of go the other direction here. I'm going to go 4 points. I'm going to go 4 points on Kingston to retain. I feel like it, one of, and you can argue with me if you want, but Kingston, one of Kingston's biggest criticisms is that he doesn't look like a champion. He doesn't, you can tell he gets gassed sometimes. I mean, I can't say anything because the man's far more athletic than any of the three of us. But I feel like having him, especially having the win over someone like Jon Moxley, to retain all this and kind of validate all of it, and be the inaugural AEW Continental Champion. I feel like, and also, by the way, with that championship, I feel like they need to put an apostrophe before the C, because they're like the AEW Continental Champion. I just feel like it would be a really good way to keep Kingston's legitimacy high. I don't feel like Moxley will look bad in defeat, especially against someone like Kingston. But it's not enough for me to go 9 points, you know what I mean, or 8 points. So I'm going to go my 4. I'm going to put my 4 on Kingston.
Ransom?
I'm going to put a 5 on Kingston. Moxley has had a stupendous championship run in AEW, and I don't know that it... I feel like if Moxley were to win this, it would be more of a disservice to Eddie Kingston and less of a service to Jon Moxley. So, big 5er, Kingston.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on board. I got Eddie Kingston for 3 points for a lot of those same reasons. I feel like, I think Ransom put it perfectly, man. It's going to help Eddie Kingston more than hurt Moxley, and it's going to help Eddie Kingston it would hurt Eddie Kingston far more than helping Jon Moxley the other way. Again, my only gripe is that you basically gave it away when Eddie Kingston was like, and you know what, I'm putting my titles on the line with that too.
Yeah. Didn't need that. I don't think it needed it.
Yeah. I get it because, Eddie Kingston's a big Japan guy, Japanese wrestling guy. So having the Triple Crown Championship's important, and it's a little bit of prestige, and it's a neat little gimmick. I get it, especially since you have Roman Reigns roaming around with fucking 2, 4, 6, 8 titles, whoever.
Romy 2 belts.
Yeah, so I get it. I get the novelty of it. But I don't, it basically kind of gave it away unless you really didn't believe in Eddie Kingston at all. So, but I mean, and the story's important. Eddie was able to beat Claudio in the tournament. Eddie was able to beat Danielson in the tournament. Now he's going to beat Moxley at the end of it. Kind of exercising those demons from the Blackpool Combat Club. Yeah. Also, can we please get Jon Moxley a vacation? The guy has been covering shifts for the last year and a half. Give the guy a fucking break, huh? Moving right along, we have Julia Hart defending against Abaddon. Glad to see Abaddon back and on the roster. Even gladder to see Julia Hart and Sky Blue having a little bit of a teamsmanship. and even Thunder Rose is getting involved. So, like, yeah, I mean, good things are happening in AEW's women's division, despite the craziness of everything else that's going on in AEW. Having that women's division kind of start to gain some steam and some momentum is pretty exciting. Ransom, your pick. Julia Hart defends the TBS championship against Abaddon. Who you got?
I find no reason at this juncture to take it off of Julia Hart so soon. So 6 points on Julia Hart.
Yeah, I'm of the same mindset. I went a little bit higher. Julia Hart, 8 points. I just feel like it's way too, and I know that they've kind of made the TBS title was on Jade for like 8 years, and then it bounced around pretty quickly from her to Chris Statlander, and then from Statlander to Julia Hart. So, like, I don't think that they want to be, like, slingshotting it around. I think that Julia should have a nice, decent reign here. And again, like, the stuff with Sky Blue's working, the stuff with Abaddon's working. Like, let's just keep it up, man. Let's just keep that shit moving. And then, Pootski, who you got?
Man, I desperately want to put, like, points on Abaddon. Like, because I feel like she's gotten the raw end of the deal. A lot in AEW. And I think part and parcel to that was injury.
Yes.
I think part and parcel of that was injury because they were pretty high on her before she got hurt. And Julia Hart is doing a great job, and I like Julia Hart a lot. I don't personally have, like, weird ones this one. I'm trying to be a little more prudent. But this one, just to be outside here on this, because, like, I'm going to put, this is where my 2-pointer was going to go when I was looking at this. I'm going to put 2 points on Abaddon, not to be weird and not do the poot here. Watch this. I'm just putting it there because I'm like, of all the ones that are here, I really feel like this is the one that I'm like, you know what? I'll take a bet on this, but nothing super risky. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Because I feel like Abaddon would be really good as, like, lording over the women's division. Just how she has the eponymous supernatural feel. You know what I mean? Julia Hart feels like, was it Lady Demetrescu from the newest, what's it called? Not Silent Hill, Resident Evil. Like, she has that vibe of, like, she's imposing and mysterious, but she doesn't have that supernatural vibe. I think they could do a lot with Abaddon. And I think that when her and Julia Hart come back around, it could be even more entertaining. There's just a lot to do. I'm pretty sure Julia Hart's going to retain on this one, but I'm like, you know what? This is the one I'm going to just go 2 points because you never know. I could get 2 points on this one.
Sure.
So
yeah, especially with Ransom and I having pretty heavy points on it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm here for you.
Like this is the only one that I'm doing like a even close to like a here watch this. Like
calling a poop. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But still 2 points. 2 points. Nothing. A little conservative.
And in the women's division, we're going to pick Toni Storm versus Riho in a singles match for the AEW's Women's World Championship. Ransom, who do you have? Nope. You went last time, didn't you?
I did.
Damn it, it's me. Okay, well then I guess I will pontificate. I don't know why Riho keeps popping up, other than I think that she may have a thing with Kenny Omega. She was the inaugural women's champion, which I guess was all right. And then, like, every time she has come back, I've been very underwhelmed. I don't see the value in Riho. I think that, if you're going to go with the Joshi vibe, you have Hikaru Shida, who I know that her and Toni Storm have had a ton of matches. But, I mean, like, she's the one that's been here. She's the one trying to learn the culture, trying to learn the language. She is the one that people love. And then you have stupid Riho, who comes back and she looks like a fucking ballerina. And that's not even getting into the whole like David Goliath feel, which Riho is like a tiny human being. I try not to harp on that because wrestling is about, you know, getting rid of your disbelief. You know, suspending your disbelief, having the belief that maybe David can beat Goliath. But like, let's be real. Like, honestly, like Riho is like 70 pounds soaking wet. I don't see the appeal in Riho. Tony Storm's on fire. If they take it out of Tony Storm for stupid Riho, I'm gonna be so upset. Tony Storm, 10 points. Poot.
Oh my God, absolutely. This is where my tenor's going. 100% beef. I'm right there with you. You said it all. And I'm not trying to be like bandwagon here with what you said. I have always looked at Rio and been like, I don't get it. It's the same thing with what's the name of the women's wrestler in WWE, the Pirate Princess?
Kairi Sane.
Kairi Sane, same thing.
Don't you dare compare these two because Kairi is far more talented,
I agree.
Believable, and prettier.
I agree. I agree, but I still looked at her and I went, I just don't get it. Like, I understand, but I don't get it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
That's fair.
I understand, but I don't get it. And Rio it's not even that I understand. I go, I don't get it. I don't understand the appeal. And I don't understand, like, it. She's like the Kirkland version of Kairi Sane.
She's like Bailey without talent. She's like Kairi Sane without flair.
But like,
she's smile. I got a trouncy skirt and I can do flippies. Hoo.
Well, but not even that. Like, for me, it's one of those things where I look and I go, okay. Versus Timeless Tony Storm, she is. Not only, I don't mean this, I mean this in the doublest of ways. She is hot right now. She is not only hot as in smoke show hot. This character is so fucking good. It is one of the most entertaining things in wrestling right now. It just is. Like, it is just entertaining. And she's doing it so well. And I can't say anything else about it. It is 10 points, Timeless Tony Storm.
Yeah. Ransom?
I'm going to do 9 points on Tony Storm. I apologize. Mainly for the main reason of what Poot said. She's got the hottest gimmick in the AEW women's division right now. Like, it makes negative sense. Not just no sense. It makes negative sense to take the title off of Tony Storm whenever she is, go Tony Storm.
Let me just say, like, we've seen, celeb couples, whatever, that have, attractive people find, other attractive people. But, like, how did two absolute stunners like Tony Storm and Juice Robinson, like, find each other? And here's the thing. Juice used to be like a little kind of a doughy guy. Now he's like a fucking like Greek idol. Like, Jesus, man. Like, two fucking nat 10s or nat 20s even fucking just found their way to each other. Their kids are going to be fucking models or wrestlers or both.
I don't know, man. Juice Robinson has baby face.
That's fair, but the beard helps.
Oh, the beard helps a lot.
The beard helps.
Oh, the beard helps a great deal.
The beard helps make him.
Oh, 100%.
The beard turns it from like stupid doughy baby face to like I'm kind of a badass. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if I swung the other way, I think that Juice Robinson would absolutely be rock hard for me. Anyway.
Opposite. That's the opposite.
I mean, you don't know. I could be his type. Anyway, okay. Moving right along. Don't be jealous, Ransom. It's okay. My wife has to deal with me saying that I think that Kairi Sane is pretty. You can hear me say that Juice Robinson's pretty. It's okay.
Jealousy. So jealous.
Hey, jealousy.
So anyway, moving right along, we get this weird, not a thing, this weird thing that just kind of happened with Ricky Starks and Big Bill and the Callis family taking on the Sex Gods and Sting and Darby Allin.
Can I ask a stupid question?
Nope.
You can.
I'm sorry, Beef. I did jump in on you there, and I apologize. But I'm real confused because the last time that I was paying attention, Jericho and Sammy were feuding, and Jericho turned on Sammy. Or no, Sammy turned on Jericho, and Sammy didn't want anything to do with Jericho. Now they're back to their old shtick as BFFs?
Nailed it. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Because Sammy has clearly been taken under the wing of the Big Show and learned the art of turning face and heel every 2 weeks whenever needed.
Okay.
Well, okay, so necessity was kind of like the mother of invention here because with Kenny Omega going down to diverticulitis and God knows how long that could be a thing. Like,
I mean, whenever someone when someone like Omega says indefinitely, you kind of go like, oh, this is like indefinitely.
Right, yeah, because Kenny's worked through a lot. So whenever he's like, hey, I'm going to be out a little bit, like, you can probably trust that he's going to be out a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I think that they kind of, like, pulled together the best they could. They're like, hey, let's get Sting. Hey, somebody pulled Darby's corpse off of Everest and tell him he has to wrestle. Fuck, who can we put with Jericho? I know, let's turn Sammy again. Which, I mean, the decision to turn on Jericho was okay, but they never really followed up on it. So, I mean, really, they're just kind of retconning something that happened. I get it.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's kind of a mishmash. But luckily, Pook gets to pick first, so we'll be able to pick up on his thought
train. I really don't feel like it.
I like the sound.
I don't feel like it will behoove the Sex Gods to lose. Well, no, it's the Don Callis family.
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing, like, it doesn't make any sense really for Jericho, no.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Jericho and Sammy, Sting, Darby, like, yeah, they're going to win. But every time I pick against the Callis family wins every single time.
I feel like this could be great. This is the one that let me look and see what we got left here. I'm gonna take my 5-pointer. And I'm going to put it on the Don Callis family, Ricky Starks, and Big Bill. Because, yes, Kenny Omega being gone is one thing. And it kind of put the kibosh on all this stuff, and it made it kind of, like, slanted and weird. However, I feel like if you give the Don Callis family a win, it is a win-win for all the parties involved. It gives Team Le Sex Gods something to kind of shoot for. Sting and Darby Allin can eat all the losses in the world. It's fine. But not only does it make the Don Callis family, give them a platform to stand there and go, see, you're nothing without Omega, and they can like really ride that and hit. What are you doing over there?
I'm rummaging. It's fine. Don't worry about
it. What's he building down there?
I'm like doing that, and I just hear this it's like I'm just waiting to hear like woo.
Trying to do it quietly. Okay, I'm sorry.
But the Don Callis family gives them a platform to be absolute more shit-eating heels. It makes Big Bill and Ricky Starks look good. It really does. And it the Sex Gods get to be the beaten down baby faces chasing back, and Sting and Darby Allin can go back into the mist. So I'm gonna put my 5-pointer on Ricky Starks, Big Bill, and the Don Callis family.
Back into the mist.
Ransom.
I have no basis to pick on this other than I've been burnt one too many times picking against the Callis family. So I'm going to pick the Callis family for 2 points. Keep me honest there, Beef. Make sure I didn't use my 2-pointer already.
You have not.
I don't think I did, but 2 points on them because it's like the Young Bucks syndrome, or like lol Roman wins. Like anytime in the past where Roman had a shot of losing, I picked against Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns wins. Anytime it's like, boy, it's in California, it's got to be the Young Bucks. Like, oh man, it's got to be. Nope. Every time I pick them, they lose, and it burns me. And it's the same thing with the Callis family. I'm like, man, you've got Jericho, Sammy, Stig, and Darby. Like, all of these guys are hot hands. The Callis family can afford to take this loss here. No big deal. They're not gonna. So I'm not. If I'm gonna get burnt on the Callis family, I'm gonna get burnt picking them for low points.
I think it's funny you described Chris Jericho as a hot hand. He's like a fucking heavy metal dumpy ant.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just no disrespect to his legacy, but like this whole fucking like Twitter feud with fucking James Cornette's attorney, like it's all fucking laughable, man. This
I have not kept up with that. If old Dumpy Magoo is involved with it and his yelling, "You motherfucker, you piece of shit."
it was basically about the whole brawl out thing. And
you fucking raccoon pelt-headed piece of shit.
Nailed it. It was about brawl out, and I think Punk's camp has the same attorneys as James P. Or James E. Excuse me. So like Jericho was like, I can fucking talk about anything I want to. I can tell you all the stories about brawl out because I didn't sign shit. And the attorney was like, actually, Chris, you did. Read your fucking handbook. And Chris was like, I never read the handbook. And so it's been a stupid fucking thing that's just evolved.
So you're saying it was Jericho it was Jericho just being like, "Urgh."
Yeah, it was Jericho trying to stay relevant, trying to keep Punk's name in his mouth and trying to get eyeballs on AEW. I respect it, but man, like, come on,
don't respect it.
Dumpster diving.
Don't respect it.
I get it. It is a tactic in business, but like I don't think it's a smart tactic because it's the same idea of fucking Tony Schiavone and WCW. Like that'll put butts in seats. Like yeah, you did a great job of getting the entire audience to turn over. You're basically doing the same thing, but you're riding the coattails of a guy that you had in house less than 6 months ago. Anyway, I think the faces win here. Just for the simple fact that I don't think Sting is going to have a loss on his record this close to his final match. I think that they probably had to, because last I knew, Darby was off training to climb Mount Everest. So they probably had to make it a little bit lucrative for him to come back and want to work it. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to change Sammy from heel to face unless they do another switch with him again at the pay-per-view and have him turn on Jericho again, which would be silly, but not outside the realm of believability. Yeah, all that said, I think the faces take it. I am only putting 5 points on it though because I couldn't put anything lower on it. I'm not confident in this at all because this could absolutely go either way. Because like you said, the Callis family always seems to like do things. Speaking of doing things, the Edge of Christian show is still happening, in a good way. Christian Cage defends the TNT title against Adam Copeland in a no disqualification match. Christian is one of the hottest things. Christian is actually one of the hottest things happening in wrestling now. And he's killing it, man. He's doing better with the TNT title than, dare I say, any title he held in WWE. and probably TNA. And I believe I am right on this one, that this is Ransom's pick. So please, Ransom, enthrall us.
I'm gonna. I think it's too soon to pull this title off of Christian and give it to Edgy Poo. I don't think it's going to happen. 7 points on Christian.
I like Poot's little like disapproving whimper there. So,
No. It was absolutely. It was a. That's what it was meant to be.
Okay.
That's absolutely what it was meant to be. No,
I think Edge is going to hold some titles, but I just don't. It really, for me, it doesn't do anything. For me to like, all right, he's debuted. All right, they're set up a feud. Okay, Edge wins the title. Oh, why? Oh.
Well, I am actually picking Adam. Don't call me Edge Copeland here for 2 points.
What?
Because I am.
What points did I put on it? I forgot.
7.
Do I have that?
I'll bet you I know exactly why Beef's doing this, but go on, Beef. Finish your thought.
Well, I feel like Adam Copeland needs the rated R superstar needs a win here. They haven't given him a big win on pay-per-view yet. And I think that this is going to do something to kind of keep the feud rolling and throw some logs on it. Get us to, phase 2, which is inevitably Nick Wayne and Killswitch turning on Christian. But for right now, we're still on the opening gambit. So I think that it starts with Adam Copeland beating Christian Cage for the title. And I think we go from there. So yeah, give me Adam Copeland 2 points. Pootsky?
So this is a no DQ match?
It is.
All right, so there can't be any tomfoolery in the win here. Like, if Edge wins, he's going to win the title.
Right.
Okay.
And I bet you Nick Wayne's mom eats a spear, too.
Oh, yeah. And twice that night, too, right?
She's eating something.
Okay, everybody. Dial it back. Poot, who you got here?
I am 3 points on Christian Cage.
I love how Nick Wayne's mom is now a freaking AEW knockout.
I feel like, oh God, hold that, hold it, hold. My working logic here is that like Christian has held that belt for quite some time, but I don't. And yeah, Adam, don't call me Edge Copeland. Is like he could use a win, and this would be a big one. He would get the belt, conquering hero. But then after that, like you kind of like, what do you do? Just have Christian Cage follow him, going, yeah, give me back my title, more successful guy, yeah. Like,
yeah,
I feel like you need to keep pressing Christian Cage right now as like, do you see what I have done? What I have done to my former friend? Like, break off that feud for now. They can always come back to it. They can bring it back around again. Let Christian Cage just keep being, fucking daddy issues embodied of AEW. Like, do it. Like, the man looks like he smells of rich mahogany and whiskey. Like, let him fucking be that. Let him be that and push him further up. Let him move on, like have that belt and keep just ruling with an iron fist, especially with the addition of Nick Wayne's mom. Don't turn it into a fucking well, I have the woman and I have the kid and I got my little stable. Yeah, like don't keep pressing on it. Keep pushing. Like, do it. I think it'll be fucking fantastic if they did it that way.
Honestly, for me, it does more for me in the feud with almost said Edge, Adam and Christian, if the turn of Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne come at a time where, Christian is belittling them for whatever reason, and they finally had enough, and they're the ones, or one of them is the one that costs Christian the title. Like, I don't know that the payoff is Edge beats Christian here, Christian continues on with his little feud, or with his little stable, and then eventually the two of them turn on Christian. I think the turn comes whenever he loses the title, because they've finally had enough of his bullcrappery, and the turn happens at a place that costs him the title. That's my running theory, but don't.
I mean, you might still get that on Saturday,
take that
though.
to the bank. But you think so? They're going to turn on him already?
Dude, he's been treating Luchasaurus, aka Killswitch, like a real fucking dickhead. They're definitely kind of pushing that a little harder than I think it needs to be. That said, I think what happens is Edge somehow pulls Adam Copeland somehow pulls out the victory here, and then immediately loses it to whoever wins the Battle Royal, like on the next Dynamite or whatever. Like Christian and company cost Edge that title, thus taking that title out of that program, but keeping that program rolling, so that you give Edge Adam Copeland that big win, you give him a title win, and yet he can lose to somebody to make them look good, and also keep that feud with Christian kind of on broil, give them some like stupid fucking dumb gimmicky match at Revolution, and then you start pushing the whole like Christian family, the patriarchy, against Christian at some point, and that's when Adam Copeland swoops in for the save. And then we get that like Double or Nothing, whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I just feel like it's time for an Adam Copeland win.
Oh, good. So at the next pay-per-view, we'll get Adam Copeland versus Dolph Ziggler for the TNT title.
I'm kind of here for that.
The WWE stands will be all over AEW for that.
They won't. They have never done like the whole like the brass ring or the face of the Revolution. All of that stuff has never like waited for the next pay-per-view. It's always been on like a Dynamite, like either following the event or like very soon after.
Is it true that AEW now has an employee handbook?
Has a what?
An employee handbook.
Yeah, that's what James that's what the lawyer was referencing with Jericho.
Oh yeah.
Was the handbook that Jericho apparently read and signed in there as an NDA about that kind of stuff.
Right.
So we're going to talk about Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee, which I think is going to be an incredible match. I think it should have happened about a year and a half ago. Probably not that long ago, but still, like I think that it's been a long time coming, but I think it's going to be great. And I'm excited for it. Another really hot talent right now is Swerve Strickland. I believe it's mine to lead here, and so I'm going to give you guys a spoiler. Swerve Strickland is winning this. I love Keith Lee, I really do, but he has not amounted to much in AEW, sadly. And Swerve Strickland is the hottest-ish thing on the roster right now. I think it was a mistake not to have him win the Continental Classic. I think having him not in the title picture is real dumb. You want to talk about hot hands, man? The fans are here for Swerve. The hands are here. The fans are here for Nana. Like I swerve when I drive, and I swerve when I drive, and I swerve when I drive, and I swerve when I drive.
You know, there's more lyrics to that. Just throwing that out there.
I do, but it's actually surprisingly less lyrics than you may think.
No, I looked him up, and I was like, oh, and he's real proud of doing his own theme music. But I was like, oh, okay, so this is what you do. You're a SoundCloud rapper. Got it.
I swerve when I drive is literally about 90% of the song.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm picking Swerve Strickland, 9 points. Pootsky?
Oh, Beef, stop picking the same shit as me. That's where my Niner's going as well. Swerve Strickland. nothing against Keith Lee, but like, I love Keith Lee. I think he's fantastic, but like you like to have Swerve Strickland lose this after the fucking monstrous, violent match that he had with Hangman. Like you don't do that. Like,
Stop it.
Like, okay, I'm
You're
stopping.
not JR. You're not JR. You don't say the Hangman. He's Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah,
It's not
Hangman Adam.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, Hangman Adam Page.
Adam Hangman.
Poot, please.
All right, I will. Anyway, after that match with Hangman, you don't. All right, but after that with Hangman Adam Page, you don't have Swerve Strickland lose.
What about Mike Bailey?
Damn it, Ransom.
Got him.
You just don't have him lose. Like Keith Lee, get Keith Lee back on track somewhere else. Like not at the cost of Swerve Strickland. 9 points Swerve when I drive. When I
You heard the man, Ransom.
Have I used my 7 points?
You have just as Christian.
Shit, damn. Dix?
You have.
Shit damn dicks.
5?
You have. Yeah, you have.
Help!
You have 4, 3, and 10.
Ooh. Yeah, we're gonna go. We're gonna go 4 points on Saul Swerveman.
I'm different.
Swervin
Alright.
strikeout. Strickens. Do the thing.
Striking
had a stroke.
Outman.
Saul Peterman.
That's again something different. Miro faces off against Andrade El Idolo with CJ Perry in Andrade's corner. Because she is his management talent, and Miro is her husband, and like I said, every Saturdays are sports ball days, so I haven't been watching Collision like I should be.
Ramp Legend.
So I'm not quite sure what's up with this.
But
This is my pick, right? No, I picked Swerve. Poot, this is your pick.
What? Wait. Oh, wait. No. Yes. Wait. Yeah. With the three of us.
My
yeah,
pick, isn't it?
Miro versus Andrade. I don't know, man. I'm gonna go 7 points on. I'm gonna go 7 points on Miro. Fuck it.
Ransom.
3 points on. I have no idea. How about 3 points on Lana and Mr. Charlotte Flair.
Andrade. They were recently photographed at a Triple H event where Andrade leaned over at the rails to kiss Charlotte, so apparently they are still an item, despite everybody's being like, oh, they're divorced, sir, because we're the internet marks and we know better. Miro.
I feel
6
attacked,
points.
but okay.
That was a great Beefy the Frog there.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Beefy the Frog, Beefy the Legend here.
Hi-ho.
Miro, 6 points. Moving along. MJF defends the title against Samoa Joe. The AEW Championship against Samoa Joe. Poot, your pup. No, I'm kidding. It's actually not Poot's pick for once.
I was gonna say it could be mine because it's fucking no brainer.
Okay, I like that. Ransom, who you got?
Almost.
This is your 10-pointer.
Yeah, baby. I'd say my 10-pointer for this. I have all the confidence on the MJF pick here for this, but there's this little there's this little beefy angel on my shoulder going, "Hey man, you know about that Joe?
You know,
Know about this devil thing?
You know about them, Joe?
You know they're gonna do something funky here. You want to do this, Ransom?
You gonna go full poot?
Yeah, you want to do it? You want to do the thing? Come on, Ransom, do it. Beef is the Senate. I don't know. Like 90% of me is like, yeah, MJF. 90% of me is MJF, but like there's that little 10% that's making me hesitant and like, well, what if they pull the trigger on this whole devil thing now, and it costs MJF the title? But again, it's that big like curtain reveal costing the title thing that gets me. Like, I almost feel like they'd be better off saving MJF's title loss for like, okay, it's going to be MJF versus the devil. Like, it's finally going to happen. And the unmasking happens in the ring during the match or at the beginning of the match or whatever. And the devil turns out to be Adam Cole. And that's when MJF loses the title. He loses the title to the devil, to Adam Cole. Unless they do something skittish here by incapacitating Samoa Joe before the match, the devil gets slotted in, and it turns out it is Adam Cole, and this winds up being an Adam Cole versus the devil match. What do we do? What do we do if that's the case? If Joe gets taken out before this match,
same thing we do every time, Ransom. Throw the match out. Everybody gets points.
We throw the match out. Okay. So if it turns out to be anything other than MJF versus
Samoa
Joe, we throw it out. Even if it's like now suddenly it's a triple threat match and the devil's involved, we throw it out.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So that gives me a little bit more.
We've set the meta on that before.
No, I agree. I'm not arguing. I could not for the life of me remember what happens in that instance. So yeah, I'm gonna bank my 10-pointer here on MJF. I feel like there's a part of me that goes, big mistake. But I'm gonna do it. MJF.
Who you got?
No.
It's you.
I was throwing it out to see if you catch it, and if you wouldn't have caught it, I would have let you go.
You are a fucking villain.
You need to stop trying to pull that fucking shit, because then when you have your belts, I'm gonna call you a false champion no matter what.
Donkey beef.
Donkey lips.
Give me Joe. We actually talked about Donkey lips at work yesterday. It came up in casual conversation. I was like, you guys remember Donkey lips? What a weird fucking time. Give me Samoa Joe. 7 points.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Go big. Go
I feel
fucking
like
big.
I made a big mistake now.
No. This is a gut feel, much like the Sami Zayn pick I made at Elimination Chamber. So you probably did the right thing. So mired in this whole devil thing, which I do think comes to a head at World's End as well.
Really? Oh,
I
damn.
Do. Because the Masked Men have just beaten Joe and MJF for the Ring of Honor tag team titles. So we got to find out who that tag team is. In addition to that, we got to, Joe, we found out that Joe was working with the devil on Dynamite, and he turned on Max and hit him with a chair a bunch of times. But outside of all of that, let's remember Max's big slogan for the last year. What's it been? Crickets.
He's better than
the bidding war of 2020.
Oh, the bidding war of
2024. And the idea is that he hasn't signed a contract. Now, I think that he has, but they've kept it pretty damn quiet. They're going to play into this kayfabe that he hasn't signed a contract and that, the clock strikes at fucking midnight on New Year's Eve and off goes the AEW World Championship out the door. In that vein, I think we see a screw job of some sorts. Fuck it. Maybe Tony Khan's the devil. It was me, Max. It was me all along. I don't know. But I think that we're going to see something that causes Samoa Joe to win the title, whether it be by hook or by crook, whether it be something that is caused by the devil, caused by Tony Khan, something. It's not going to be clean. It's going to be pretty fucking far from clean. But I think that Samoa Joe, and it's probably going to come with like a little bit of an asterisk. Might be like a Rey Mysterio, John Cena type match where, they have the belt and then fucking CM Punk comes back with the belt, So like, there's definitely going to be some sludge on this one, which makes me sad because it's going to be Samoa Joe's first fucking reign as a, world champion in a major promotion here in the U.S. But all that said, I think it's fucking time. I think that Joe deserves it. I think that Joe has proven that he deserves it. I think that Joe winning in New York with Max's people in some sort of a screwjob fashion only makes him a hotter talent. Max, that is, whenever he does come back. So yeah, again, I don't know if it's going to be like a conglomerate of the devil and Tony Khan or just one of them. But I think that somehow, some way, the title ends up in Samoa Joe's arms at the end of World's End. And like I said, I'm putting 7 points on Samoa Joe. Poot?
Wow, beef going with Samoa Joey, huh? Wow.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to talk about this match once Poot's done with his pick.
I think that the bidding war of 2024 carries more weight. Carries more weight if MJF does have the belt, because then whoever takes it off him is going to be the AEW conquering hero. If he doesn't resign, like I mean,
so real talk. He's already resigned. That's being reported by Meltzer, and that like it sounds like he resigned.
Well, and it's also because he's riding high. He wants to make this better. Like MJF, like that's the thing. It's like the crazy thing about MJF that I really like is the fact that he is actually a very dope human being. You know what I mean? Like by all accounts, like people who have talked about him outside of interviews and stuff, like not only does he believe in the company, he is like an all around genuinely good dude. You know what I mean? So like, I like the fact that he is betting on AEW and he's betting on himself, and he has built a fucking hell of a career already. And when he does inevitably decide to go to WWE, which I think is something that is an inevitability, eventually, I mean, it's just a matter of time. I really think that I think that right now, I think keeping the belt on him and playing up the bidding war of 2024 thing would have a little bit more weight. So I'm gonna put my 8-pointer on MJF, man. I'm gonna stand by. Stand by MJF on this. And if I'm wrong, it's gonna be very compelling and very interesting.
Yeah. So there's your World's End picks. We'll see how everything kind of stacks out. But yeah, let's talk about that main event, because I think it does bear a little bit of talk. Ransom, sounded like you had a point you wanted to make, or a thought you wanted to kind of tug on. So please.
I will put my speakers on, but I have to use the little poots room. So I will put my speakers on so I can hear you guys, okay?
You got it.
All right.
Take a sip of beverage here. So this match comes at an interesting time, at least in my thought process, because, and I don't know if this helps or hurts my pick. There's, and I don't know how Tony Khan thinks about this kind of stuff. So that's another thing that like raises questions for me. You know, there's a big conflict going on in the world right now. You know, with a certain demographic, that being, you know, one side being MJF's demographic. I don't know if that plays into anything. I know like world issues and politics. Well, not really politics because it's not really a politic thing. Like world issues have played into at certain times WWE storylines, unless I'm remembering that incorrectly. So I don't know how Tony Khan handles that kind of stuff. MJM, that's something different. MJF was also just recently inducted into the Jewish Sports Hall of Fame, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
You are correct.
So I don't know if they kind of play off of that. Like, is it really a good time at this juncture to take the belt off of him? Or is it better to kind of ride that arena, ride that issue? Like, he was just inducted into the Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. This is our guy. Like, this is our champion, you know. But then again, like on the other hand, like that helps my pick. But on the other hand, I don't know if it hurts it, because if Tony Khan doesn't really see that as a compelling story issue, like if he's just like, hey, that's awesome, you know, good for MJF, you know, I'm glad he got that honor, but that's completely separate from where our storyline goes, so we don't have to play into that. It's a completely separate thing. You know, you kind of know what I'm saying here. Like, I'm not articulating it very well. It's just like it gives me pause, because on one hand, it could be like, well, we want to ride this high and keep the belt on MJF because of all the stuff that's, you know, going on in the world, and, you know, his major accomplishment there. Or does that not play into a factor at all? It doesn't matter. Completely separate. This is AEW. We're in AEW. Whatever's happening in the rest of the world and, you know, other sports Hall of Fames, that's great on one hand, bad on another, that it's, you know, that those things are happening. But we're in the AEW bubble, and none of that stuff affects what we do here in AEW. Help me out here with that, Beef.
I think that this is probably pretty strategically planned out. I don't think that there's any accident on the biggest shows of the year how things have happened. For example, MJF and Adam Cole, you know, MJF doing the fucking kangaroo kick at fucking Wembley, and MJF and Adam Cole having that fucking knockdown drag out at Wembley. Like, no accident. Now this whole fucking devil thing coming to an end again, I think, here and now. This is all meticulously planned. I think that the Adam Cole injury probably slowed it down a little bit. I think the interesting thing with Dynamite has been the whole MJF versus the world mentality. And that MJF's only breather was the fact that Samoa Joe was there to protect him because he didn't want Max hurt for the title match. Or he didn't want him bad enough that he couldn't defend the title. So now, with Joe turning on MJF, I think that leaves him completely unprotected, completely out of options. So to answer your question, I think that this is that regardless of this happening for Max, which I think is a great thing, I think that Tony Khan probably had these plans in the weeds for a while. So that said, I don't think that would have influenced this. All that being said, I think that the whole devil thing wrapping up, coinciding with this, just kind of a happy accident. I think that the real story here is we're going to see a work of the Montreal Screwjob. Because again, the idea is that, on December 31st at 12:59, Maxwell Jacob Friedman hits the free agency. And they're going to play into that. And I think that, and it could be wrong. Maybe the whole devil thing doesn't wrap up because I think that this might be a bigger, deal. But regardless, I think that we get some sort of a, Tony Khan, MJF, Vince McMahon, Steve Austin kind of thing here. It doesn't have to be exact, obviously, because again, wrestling fans are smart. They know when they're being fucking, fed the same shit over again.
Yeah, they know when they're seeing a rerun.
Right. But at the same time, I think that that's a proven angle that works. The boss, the big fucking evil boss who's trying to stop somebody from achieving their goal. And I think that now is kind of the time to pull that. And then you have Tony Khan, maybe even in concert with the devil, like working hand in hand. Maybe Tony Khan's the devil, maybe the devil's Adam Cole, I don't know. But bottom line here is that I think that you lead up to Wembley 2024, all in 2024. And you have MJF finally getting his title back at that point, which will be a hot face in a hot environment. Like, just all together, I think it's going to be a good... I think it's a good time to do that, and I think that you need the heat from him losing the title here in a very, auspicious way. And that helps catapult him into the next, the fucking stratosphere,
I like that mentality. By the way, I'm back. I like that mentality of saying, I didn't think about that, having it be when he, like, getting the triumphant reclaiming of the belt at Wembley. That's a really cool idea.
So I guess another thought of mine as I was thinking about this match.
Also, Beef, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't break your concentration or whatever.
No, not at all. Not at all. I was winding down, so you're good.
We've been kind of tunnel visioned on this whole devil thing. Like, we're kind of anticipating the devil being Tony Khan or the devil being MJ or Adam Cole, screwing MJF out of this title. Is there a distinct possibility that we're playing into their hand, assuming these things, when, what did MJF always say about the devil?
The best trick that the devil ever pulled was convincing everyone he didn't exist.
Right. So I keep coming back to that quote. I didn't know exactly what it was. Like, I knew the gist of it, but yeah. So we're convinced that MJF is the good guy. We're convinced that, it's Adam Cole or Tony Khan or somebody, the devil's going to screw MJF. Is it a possibility that we've been worked this whole time and this whole devil angle is orchestrated by MJF? And it turns out that, he's behind it and he's the heel. He's the bad guy. He's the devil. He convinced us that he never really existed. He convinced us that he's the face, that he's the good guy, that we need to be cheering for him and rooting for him because it's the world against MJF. When all along he's been pulling these strings and he has fooled everybody.
What if
into believing that he's the face and the good guy and he's made us root for him and he's made us cheer for him, when all along he's always been the devil and he's always been behind it?
What if MJF has an exact twin brother and they pull a double doink? How funny would that be? Nothing?
I hope that silence was so uncomfortable for you, Poot.
It wasn't. Really, I was just like, because in my mind I went, like, it's obviously I'm not
fucking cartoon character.
Obviously I'm not fucking serious, but like, no,
because my best friend, one of my best friends, will not be the dumbest motherfucker in the world. So
well, fine. I don't like.
Go on.
Here's.
Yes.
I'm trying to think how to put this. I like, how else would they do that? If they did that, it would feel, I don't know. MJF is real fucking good. He's real fucking good at like taking chicken shit and turning it into chicken salad. He's real fucking good at it. But like,
absolutely.
But like, I mean, like, Can I go with
So like,
is
I feel that
the like good answer for that? Because I feel like it would feel very topical. It would feel very meh. It wouldn't feel exciting. Like
MJF being the devil. I think there was a time where that wasn't where that was true, but I think it's been a long enough circuit here that I've kind of circled back around to being okay with that idea. I think initially, I was like, man, that'd be awful played out if that were the case. But now, yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of dragged on enough to the point where I'm like, okay, well, if MJF has fucking worked this all, like let's go. Like that absolutely could turn him from a nuclear face to a nuclear heel. Also, apparently on the conference call today, Tony Khan, that he said that he thinks, quote unquote, that the Devil storyline will be wrapped at World's End. So I think that we are going to be seeing that. And I mean, look at the name of look at the adjective. Bless you. Look at the name of the event. The World's End, the end of the World Championship reign of Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Again.
That's stretching there, cowboy. That's stretching.
Is it though?
Yeah, but like, see, every time that I pose that, like, Beef, you're overthinking it, your answer's always, but am I? And it's like, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, but okay. But, like, if we do end up getting some sort of a reveal that Tony Khan is the mad genius behind, the fall of MJF to save his title from certain doom and free agency, like, wouldn't that be apropos? He could even come out and be like fucking, swagger and be like, hey, why do you think I called it World's End? So, like,
My hesitancy there is that when the Montreal Screwjob happened, it was organic that Vince McMahon parried into the character of Mr. McMahon. It was organic. He felt like that tyrannical boss, and he could play that character very well. Because again, I think the Mr. McMahon character is just Vince McMahon dialed up just a little bit. Like I think they're pretty fucking close, those two. So I think all he had to do was dial himself up a little bit. I don't necessarily know that Tony Khan would make a believable villain. Like, he's so not that. Like, when I think of villain, I don't picture his fucking fro and goofy ass face, and his fucking cocaine. Like, I just don't picture any of that. He's just too mousy. And I know, like, someone could say, like, well, you never would have thought, and like it works well for him because you never would have pictured him as it. Like, well, yeah, but even if it happened, I still don't know that I picture him as that villain character, and I don't know that he could do it convincingly to make everybody go like, oh, he's the evil corporate boss, like he screwed MJF, oh, I don't know. Looking at Tony Khan in that role, I just go like, ooh, it would be more like, oh.
Tony doesn't have the charisma for that.
No, I don't think he does.
Yeah,
I don't think he does. I mean, it's a fine theory to think like, well, this could play out and Tony Khan could be the devil and he could be screwing MJF so that he doesn't take the title somewhere else. It's a very good theory, but I just don't know that in practice it will work.
That's fair. I mean,
can you see him though as like the big boss villain?
No. Unless he surrounds himself with big mean fuckers and he acts real like slimy and shitty. No.
And I don't even I don't know that he has the chops for it. I don't know that he has the chops to come out and cut big heel boss promos.
No. You know who does?
But does
Don
he
fucking
need to?
Callis. Don fucking Callis does.
That's what I'm saying. Does he need to? Just like Poot said, surrounding himself with, I don't know, goons like the Devil Squad. Like, imagine fucking, Roddy Strong, fucking Matt Taven, and Mike Canales in, like, suits. Just standing around Tony Khan.
But they would have to spend some time. They'd have to spend some time building them up. Like, have them go out there and, like, brutalize people. Like, absolutely brutalize people.
Imagine Adam Cole on the mic, though. Like, that's the other facet of this. Like, yes, absolutely. I think that Tony Khan can pull off slimy, like, businessman. Like, hey, I was doing what was best for my company. And, Adam came to me with this idea, and we ran with it. And, I think if you have him kind of parry that, and you have, and again, like, I don't know that we need a heaping helping of Tony Khan. I don't know that he needs to be there like Mr. McMahon every single episode. I don't even need to see, if we need to see him like every pay-per-view cycle. I think only when it's important. Absolutely. And again, like, if you keep those scattered and you have, the fucking Doom Patrol doing most of the work with, like, Adam Cole and, whether it be fucking Taven and Canellis or whether it be the boys from the Undisputed Era, if you have those guys kind of running shop for a while Tony plays the role of, like, billionaire CEO, like, just take the money and run. I think that, so I hear what you're saying. Absolutely. And that is 100% a concern. But, and I feel like that's why they started this whole bidding war of 2024 thing. Otherwise, I don't know why MJF would have done it. Obviously to get heat, but, like, he kept mentioning it as a face. Right? He didn't let it go. He kept it on his tongue. So, like, when he became face, I don't know why they wouldn't have just fucking dropped it like it was cold fish. So that's what I'm saying. I think there's a purpose for all of this. And I think that everything kind of, like, is going to come together somewhat seamlessly. But, yeah, I mean, you have to have, in order to have the returning conquering hero pop, you have to have him, A, go away, and B, lose the title. You know, he can't come back and conquer things if there's nothing to conquer. He can't come back if he never leaves. So I think that they will absolutely give him a couple months off here. Let Joe defend the title. Let fucking Adam Cole and such run roughshod over the place. And make them kind of the focus. And then, right around, I don't know, Double or Nothing, per se, you get the title onto Adam Cole. And then that's whenever you have MJF come back and just fucking run roughshod. I don't know if it's MJF with FTR in tow or who has his back. But I think you have MJF come back and just clean house. And, Tony Khan or whomever makes him jump through fucking hoops to get to Wembley. But when he fucking finally gets to Wembley, when he finally gets that shot at Adam Cole and gets his title back that was rightfully his, that he should not have lost in the first place, it's going to be fucking huge. And again, I might be overbooking it in my mind, but, to me, I think if you have that happen, you hold him off TV till about April, May, and then just have him have, a summer of, tough gauntlets. And finally have him, win the title back against the man who, turned his back on him and put the blade in his heart at Wembley. I think it makes it all the better.
I think it would also be very, it would kind of, do a callback to what he put Jericho through. If he had to go through a gauntlet.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's now he's on the other side of it, and he's just like, oh, shit.
And again, those things that Tony Khan has to be involved in that, that could be a fucking Adam Cole thing. Hey, you want to get to me? Well, guess what? You're going to have to go through your own shit. Good luck, fucker.
Is it beyond the realm of possibility that Adam Cole is the returning hero? That MJF is the heel? He winds up being the devil, and Adam Cole comes back and is, flabbergasted at what's happened. We were friends. This was, we were supposed to do this together. And
you were my brother, Anakin.
Yeah, you betrayed everybody. You betrayed me. You betrayed AEW. You betrayed all of us. This was never the plan. And it winds up being Cole versus MJF for the title, where Cole is the returning hero and takes the title off of the heel MJF. Do you think that's not really a possibility of something that could happen?
I mean, it's something that could definitely happen.
I don't think it's likely. Because, you look at Adam Cole and you look at MJF.
Oh, pardon.
Lord.
Okay, Adam Cole is this, classic, 69 Corvette.
Nice.
Right? And, it's really nice. But that unless you put some serious money into it, it's only got so many drives left. So you bring it out when it's special, and you make it feel special. Whereas MJF is a fucking brand new 2024, Ford Mustang. All the fucking trimmings. Yeah, you have both these bad boys in your garage. It might feel better to take you're going to want to flex that Corvette and be like, look what I have. But at the end of the day, that Mustang is more comfortable. It's going to get you farther and be more reliable. And it looks better. My point here being is that Adam Cole has had a great career. MJF is just getting started. So I think especially because of how MJF has really kind of been mired in being a heel at this point. I don't say mired like it's a bad thing. he's played the role of the heel to perfection at this point. I think that you need to go above and beyond if you want to try and make him a face and, fucking posterize him. Make him your John Cena. Make him the guy that people go, oh, I know that guy. He wrestles for AEW. And if they're going to commit to that being MJF, I think that they have to. And again, I think that the strides that they've made with face MJF this year have been perfect. I just think that they need to go the extra mile and make him a returning conquering hero.
All right.
And to something you mentioned earlier, in terms of yes, he is absolutely going to go to WWE at some point. Again, super fucking young, right? Like a 3-year, 4-year contract with AEW is not going to hurt his standing with WWE. If anything, it's going to get him more polished.
Oh yeah.
And look at who's at the end of their careers right now. Randy Orton, CM Punk, Roman Reigns said he doesn't want to be around for much longer.
Rollins.
Rollins, right? He's at the peak. He's going to start approaching, towards the end of that peak here.
Especially with
AJ Styles,
with his back the way it is.
Right, AJ Styles, all of these people who are absolute main event fixtures in the next 3 to 4 years, poof, gone. So at that point, MJF goes from being a high, mid-card guy. If he puts in another 3 or 4 years of being a main eventer at AEW and a champion, he could easily make the switch to WWE at that point and be an immediate main eventer.
100%.
Just walk in and grab that brass ring.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. I mean, and I know we have been from, I would argue to say from day one, we've been MJF fans. Pretty much all of us.
Oh yeah.
I mean, cause even seeing him on the original All In, if you go back and watch that, by the way, it's fucking shocking. If anyone has access to that to go back and watch the very first one, it is fucking shocking. Compared to where we're at now, not saying that All In wasn't a good show. It was just, it felt like what they were going for. It felt like a super indie show. In the sense of it felt like the biggest indie show in the world. It had that vibe.
Absolutely did.
Now, if you look at where AEW's at, oh my God. It's night and day. It's way more polished. The wrestling is a lot better, arguably. Yeah, that's up for debate. But it's much more obviously cohesive. There's less tongue-in-cheek kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It's definitely grown into someone who goes, my name's not Billy, it's William. You know what I mean? And I think that's really cool to see. But seeing especially MJF, he felt like you looked at him and you went, okay, this guy seems like a big deal. And now you're like, I was fucking right. You know what I mean? You just kind of have that, I was fucking right. That's a neat feeling to have.
So a question here before we keep going. Are we going to just do one big super show?
I say at this point, we're coming up on 10, yeah.
Okay. All right, so can I pivot away from AEW for a second?
Pivot?
Or
absolutely.
For a while, I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Talk about AEW.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we've hammered away on it. So.
All right, so this past week, WWE had a Madison Square Garden event where CM Punk wrestled his first match back with WWE. And I have to tell you, I'm ready to eat all the crow. I have made a complete 180 on Dominic Mysterio.
Good.
CM Punk had a match against Dominic Mysterio. I, for the longest time, didn't get it. I didn't get it. I thought he was a fetus-faced, just because he's Rey Mysterio's kid. But I've made a complete 180 on Dominic Mysterio, and it's clear that WWE has a huge amount of faith and belief in Dominic Mysterio. He has become the workhorse of WWE. He might not be champion, but damn it all, if he's not the workhorse of WWE, for them to trust Dominic Mysterio with CM Punk's first match back in, 10 years?
Yep.
That's a lot of fucking faith.
Yep.
Like, that's a lot. They see something in Dominic Mysterio. And I don't want to, I don't want to take away from the fact that, CM Punk had his first match back, and it was one of the biggest draws they've ever had, and they sold out Madison Square Garden. Like, I don't want to take anything away from that, because that's all a big deal, and we need to talk about that. But I have to say, I've made a complete 180 on Dominic Mysterio. Like, I believe in him now as a legit wrestler, as a legit, money draw, as somebody who can get in the ring with pretty much anybody at this point. And whether it's a toe-to-toe match, whether it's a squash match, whatever it is, Dominic Mysterio can make it believable. And I don't think that I've ever been happier than to eat all the crow in the world and say I was 110% wrong on my, disdain and dislike for Dominic Mysterio, because I've come around. That dude, I think he gets it. I think he's learned a lot from a lot of people, and I think they've positioned him very well to be, the guy that people go to and say, like, okay, we've got this person, we want to put him in a match, we want to make him look good. Who are we going to put him in the ring with? Dominic Mysterio. And the match looks good. The crowd eats it up. Like, good for this kid. Good for Dominic Mysterio, and I'm pleased to have been absolutely wrong on my assessment of him.
And I'm glad that you're not only that you're willing to admit that. I hope that there are more people out there that do that, because I'll tell you what, man, like you saw it even when he was kind of green. You know what I mean? You saw it in his ability. You saw it in that, like, as he matures, he's going to be a lot like his dad, Eddie. I mean, like, he really is going to be great.
Poot.
Joking aside, it really is something to behold, to see them go, all right, Punk's going to work his first match back in WWE, knowing that, and this is not meant to be a dig at Punk, it's just because of the age. He's a little more injury prone. He might not be able to kind of go like he used to. Not saying he can't go, but being able to go like, okay, who's going to make him look like $1 million? And WWE, with their wide breadth of fucking talent, went, you. How fucking dope is that? That's pretty fucking dope, right?
That's going to be a huge pat on the back for Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And safe. And safe. Like, again, they're not blind. They know they know what Phil's track record has been the last, 2 years. Like, he's had, 4 matches, 5 matches. He's gotten injured for long stints of time in 2 of them. So, absolutely. It is a big, attaboy for Dom. Not only from a character standpoint, but from, a trust standpoint. Where they can go, all right, go in there, make him look good, be safe. That's a huge fucking deal.
Yeah.
Huge. But yeah, let's not bear the lead here. Absolutely, Dom is killing it character-wise. And yes, there is something to be said with Rhea Ripley being kind of part and parcel with that. Would he be as successful without Rhea? Probably not. But the things are what they are, and the facts are what they are, and being everything that is, it is the way it is right now. He is absolutely one of their biggest shining stars and he's young. That's the other half of this.
Yep.
Is that he has years to burn.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he's been, I mean, you can imagine his dad's been training him, like Ray's been training him since what? He was like probably 12.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, aside from just the fact of growing up in the household, it's also the fact that historically in Mexico and in lucha culture, people start really young. So if he showed interest in wanting to do it, Ray was going to be right on top of it and be like, "Yep, let's LFG, let's fucking go."
Which he clearly did with being involved in the storyline with Ray and Eddie, you know, like.
Oh yeah.
And then later Ray and Punk, you know, like that, you know. It's a nice little, you know, kind of a bow on it for sure. I thought this was a rib at first. Where you were saying all these big fucking like inflammatory things that I was like, but I'm not talking about CM Punk, haha.
No.
But I mean, like I think it's time.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I don't even know if we've done a show since Survivor Series. I think we probably have, but yes, we have. But I think it's time to give Punk his flowers. Like, you know, I know that there were some dissenters on the podcast, and yes, like objectively, his run with AEW was kind of a train wreck, start to finish. But I think you can't deny, you know, what he's done for WWE in the last month.
Even just his presence, like you can't. Yeah. You kind of can't deny the gravitas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, he's moving piles of merch.
Oh, yeah.
He is getting all kinds of eyes back on the product.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're doing big fucking numbers for house shows. And I get that Madison Square Garden is not just a house show, that it's a little bit of a special circumstance.
It's what, an 8,000 seat venue? It's not that big.
I think it's probably close to like 10 to 12.
That well.
But like, even all that being said, you know, it's you know, and like you look at all the fucking news outlets reporting on him, and like, you know, talking about his return at a fucking house show. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna stand here on my pulpit much longer without you guys saying you were right, Beef. But no, like, I don't want to beat like a dead horse. But yeah, I mean, he's absolutely a fucking needle mover. And like, if we can get a healthy Phil Brooks and a good-natured Phil Brooks, and I think that those are two very important keys. But if we can get that Phil Brooks, I think that the sky is literally the limit for the next 3 to 4 years of the excitement that we can get.
Go ahead, Ransom. Go ahead.
I absolutely agree with Beef. At this point, like I'm expecting less. Like as time goes on, I'm expecting there to be less of a chance of an implosion. I think it's along the same lines as Cody Rhodes. Not the same story, not the same trajectory, but I think it's along the same lines. Like, I think Punk's last run in WWE, yeah, he was still a needle mover. Yeah, he still moved a lot of merch. But for whatever reason, I just don't know that WWE looked at him and saw all of the positives, all of the potential. You know, he had the Summer of Punk. You know, he had the Sermon on the Mount. He had a lot of things. But, you know, in agreeance with CM Punk, there was a lot of, all right, he faces The Undertaker wins, and he goes away. He faces Triple H wins, he goes away. He faces Brock Lesnar wins, he goes away. Now what for Punk? Like, I understand that as a legitimate gripe. I think with Punk's AEW run, not necessarily all the bad, but I think strictly the fact that WWE can now see from the outside looking in. Look at how much he moves the needle. Look at how much he gets people talking. Look at the impact his return, like his first return, from his hiatus. Look how big of a deal that was. Like, I kind of think they see him as a bigger deal now, kind of like with Cody Rhodes. Cody left, went out on his own, established himself as a big deal, and WWE went, damn, this guy is a big deal. We need him back. I think WWE knew that CM Punk was a big deal, but being able to have that perspective of this dude's doing something somewhere else, and he's getting this amount of eyes, he's getting this amount of people talking, he's getting this big of a reaction. I think they're able to see that, and maybe now we'll get that sort of Brock Lesnar treatment for CM Punk. And honestly, I think at his age, and again, like, it's no dig at him, man. Like, it happens to everybody. You get older, shit starts to break down. You don't go as fast as you used to. You're not as durable as you used to be. It's just what age is, man. So it's not a dig at CM Punk. It's just the fact that, yeah, man, he is older. So as you get older, you get slower, things break down, you're not as durable. So if they kind of give him the Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns treatment, where it's not match after match after match after match, he's not on the road every single freaking week. His body's not breaking down. He's not working hurt, which is, I think, another big gripe of his was he was constantly working hurt. I think if you give him that sort of Legends status, that Legends contract, where he works the big shows, you sprinkle in some, little shows here and there, but he's not on the weeklies. He's not wrestling every Raw. He's not wrestling at every premium live event. I think that keeps him healthy, and in turn that keeps him happier because he's not working hurt. And if you treat him like a spectacle, like you do with Brock Lesnar, he's not going to be in that position to go, oh, okay, this guy beats me and goes away, now what for me? It's going to be on the other side of things. CM Punk's going to beat somebody, and then CM Punk's going to get that time off. He's going to get that break. He's going to go away while, the young talent is still there week after week after week. And I think all of that together will equal out to a great success for this last run in WWE for CM Punk. Because when you treat them special, when you treat them like you treat Brock Lesnar, you keep them fresh in the eyes of I don't know that CM Punk really gets stale in the eyes of the crowd at this point. You keep him feeling fresh mentally and physically because he's not on such a rigorous schedule. That keeps him happier because he's not working hurt. He's not losing to people that leave, and then he's stuck there going, well, now what do I do? I think the potential for this to be a success is a lot higher now than it was during his last run in WWE.
I'd buy that for $1. I'd buy that for $1.
Dollars to donuts.
I really like the fact that, like, coming down off of that, because, like, the more that Punk does in WWE and the more that he keeps, and I feel like at this point we kind of have to include this statement in there. The more that Punk goes along in WWE and the arguably easy schedule that he'll have, along with the fact that, like, if he can just keep his, I feel like saying the term at this point, keep his fucking mouth shut, is not appropriate. I feel like saying if he can keep his humors in a line, if you will, if he can do that, then I think the industry, not just WWE or Punk or whoever, I think the industry is going to benefit as a whole. Truly, I do. And I think we're going to get a lot of really interesting programming. I like it's nice to be able to like get, as he does good work, we're getting further and further distanced from the ugliness that was his run in AEW. And I'm not trying to throw shade at AEW. I'm not trying to make a declarative statement or anything. I'm just saying that, like, it's nice to see that, you know, maybe there's merit there. If anyone who was just solely blaming Punk, which, you know, knee jerk, I did. A lot of people did. But to see him get away from a lot of that negativity and just do good work, whether it's because of a like quote unquote like behavioral clause or whatever, as long as it benefits Punk, it benefits WWE, and it benefits the industry, great. I will say absolutely without any kind of reservation, fantastic. Yeah.
So let me pivot.
Yeah.
Because I think that we're kind of dancing around it here. Like, we are officially in Rumble season, boys.
Yeah,
the season
dude.
of perpetual hope, where, you know, anything can and sometimes does happen. So let me throw out a scenario to you that I think is very likely going to happen. And you let me know, you know, take the temperature on it. CM Punk wins the Royal Rumble.
Mouth or butt thermometer on this one?
I mean, whatever you're more comfortable with.
I call butt.
Damn you.
So whenever
all right, mouth.
he finishes the Rumble out by throwing Cody out last. I don't know what the order is or whatever, but I think that Punk wins the Rumble, throws Cody out last.
Cool.
Goes on to main event night 1 of WrestleMania and beats Seth Rollins for big gold. Is that a scenario so far that you're good with?
Like, good with as in, like, believe it's going to happen, or good with, like, yeah, I'm happy that happened?
Are you okay with that? I guess.
Oh, yes.
Question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with it because, like, I don't know. I don't think. You know what, Beef? You go on your thing. I have to think for a minute.
So here's my point with this, because, you know, we all heard CM Punk talk 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it's been, whenever he returned to AEW, and he said, "I'm here because I want to help the young guys. I'm here because I love the sport and because I want to help this company succeed." One would assume that the same kind of driving force is in him now. If
maybe,
you know, if it's, you know, that was an honest to God, you know, thing. And I see a lot of people that would take umbrage with Punk potentially stealing a spot from a youngster. You know, and to be clear, I don't think it would have been anybody, you know, necessarily young or special. I think the best case scenario, if Punk didn't win or doesn't win at the Royal Rumble, we would get maybe best case scenario Gunther, which would be great, but I think kind of forced at this point.
Right.
Otherwise, it would be like fucking like Drew McIntyre or some shit, or fucking Logan Paul or some shit. So, which again would be cool, but it's not just yet.
This is fine.
Can I rewind my statement?
Yeah.
So the more I think about it, I do have some concerns.
Okay.
With that scenario. Mainly being, I don't necessarily believe that Roman Reigns is going to lose his title at this year's Mania. I think they're set on the Hogan record at this point.
Agreed.
So, with that being said, I don't necessarily believe that Roman Reigns' title defenses are going to be more often than not. I think they're still going to be as spread as they are now.
Mm-hmm.
So my concern would be if Punk wins big gold, which is at this point the workhorse title with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins has defended that title a crap ton, and he's done a great job doing it. I don't know what is a better scenario. Having Punk.
Well, let me pause you for a minute, because that's why I stopped. I pressed pause on WrestleMania.
Okay.
I have kind of a further thought here. I just want to make sure that we're all kind of like on board to now. And reservations noted. I get it. Having 2 part-time champions is not good for business.
Mm-hmm.
But I think so far, and again, this is just me spitballing, I think what this does is this puts together a Hall of Fame career. This puts a bow on the Hall of Fame career of CM Punk.
Sure.
The return, the Rumble win, the WrestleMania main event. Yes, it's night 1. Who fucking cares? It's still a WrestleMania main event. I don't care who you ask.
Has Punk ever won a Rumble?
He has not.
Okay.
Nor has he ever main evented WrestleMania. He's defended a world title, or the WWE title, actually, at WrestleMania. He's had a match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania, but he's never had a main event.
Okay.
So I think that does those 2 things. It gives him those 2 things, which I think does push him over for a Hall of Fame bid. So let me take it the next step then.
All right.
Because I have that similar thought, okay. Like, Punk, you said you're here for the young guys. Punk, you said you want to get the next generation over. Like, what are we doing showing up, winning the Rumble, fucking taking the title? Your name may as well be fucking Dwayne. Because that's the same shit. That's the same shit. Ironically, that's the same shit that Dwayne Johnson, a.k.a. The Rock, pulled on CM Punk fucking a decade ago. He showed up out of the blue, took Punk's title from him in what could have been Punk's biggest moment at WrestleMania against John Cena, and made it about an old guy taking the title from a vet, from a young guy that was finally getting over. However, let me take you to the night after WrestleMania. Punk's out there getting a chance and whatever. Everybody's happy. It's a good time, right? What if fucking Damian Priest catches in?
Yeah.
And, maybe it's not Damian Priest. Maybe it's Finn Balor. Maybe it's fucking, Dom Mysterio. Maybe somebody, gets that title away from, or gets the briefcase away from Damian. Regardless, whether it be Priest, Finn, Mysterio, whoever. Remember the Judgment Day cashes in on CM Punk the night after WrestleMania and just makes him look like a dog and takes the title from him. I think so. Then
sets up longer storytelling, at least.
It does, and I think that at that point you achieve 3 goals. 1, you make a new star. 2, you can keep Rollins and Punk going, or because clearly they have some heat, and I don't think that one match is gonna cool that off. Or you can pause it and move to Punk and the Judgment Day. And 3, you have a good excuse to give Seth Rollins some well-needed time off. Because like you said, Ransom, the world title is the workhorse title. I read something today that Seth Rollins has defended the title, I think, 55 times in the last year. Roman Reigns has defended the WWE title 55 times since he won it. Which, by the way, staggering. And I don't know if that incorporates the Universal title into it or not. But like, so because you mentioned the Hogan record, I figure I'll throw this out there as well. I thought that with the Hogan record, they were just going from like him winning the undisputed title or the Universal title, until I had the revelation that he beat Brock for that title 2 years ago, for the WWE title 2 years ago. He had the Universal title like 2 years prior to that. Roman Reigns has literally had one of the main event titles for over, I think it's over 1,200 days at this point.
Oh,
He has been Universal Champion for over 1,200 days. If he gets to September, that's going to be over 4 years with one title. And then the WWE title, I think he's going on, I think 2 years. Well, it'll be 2 years in April.
Yeah.
Assuming of course he wins. Those are staggering numbers. And yes, I know that Roman's not defending it like fucking Bruno was or like fucking Hogan was. And I get all of that. It's still pretty fucking staggering because, like I said, I thought that this was all just like trumped up WWE media bullshit. Like, no, this is legit. Like, when they talk about the Hogan reign, they are comparing apples to apples with the WWF title and the current WWE Universal World Undisputed Heavyweight title.
Universal whatever.
Whatever they're calling it.
oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking time is a son of a bitch. But anyway, that was my thought with how this whole CM Punk thing is going to play out. And I think it would be pretty fucking entertaining. Punk doesn't necessarily have to lose the title after the night after WrestleMania, but very clearly they have a penchant for pulling some shit at the night after WrestleMania. Like, what bigger thing than a cash in,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Go ahead.
I don't know. Do you think that there's a possibility for a cash in at night one after Punk wins? Long, hard fought battle. He's exhausted. He finally, he beat Seth Rollins. It was a knockdown, drag out match. Like, he is vulnerable. They cash in at the end of night one.
That was an idea as well. The other thing that was raised to me by my work friend is I guess I just call him my friend. Is that maybe Damian cashes in at WrestleMania and makes it a triple threat, a la Seth Rollins, at WrestleMania 31, like against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40. Like, WWE likes their little fucking cyclical things like that. So there's some water in that. I just feel like Phil Brooks is not an altruist. Completely. I think that he definitely has found his love for the sport again, and that's why he came back to WWE. And he found his smile again, per se.
Yeah.
And but all that being said, like, I think when he sits down for those negotiations, he in his mind, he's going through the same thing that I am. Like, is he a Hall of Famer? Maybe. But would a Rumble win and like a spotlight at night one at WrestleMania main event, winning the title, would that put him over the edge? Absolutely. So to me, I think that he would. To me, that would be kind of part of it. Would that he would get his moment at WrestleMania, and then let Damian have a different moment after the fact.
Sure.
I mean, I think that was one of his big hang-ups to begin with upon his departure from WWE was, he was told, well, you're in one of the main events. Like, well, yeah, one of the main events, but like, as much as WWE wants to positively position it, you're not in the main event of WrestleMania unless you're in the closing out match. Whether that's night one or night two, I don't think that matters at this point. But when you're in the main event of one of the nights of WrestleMania, you're main eventing WrestleMania. You can say we have 3 main events. You're positively positioning that. Some people might believe it, but I think the diehard wrestling fans will look at it and go, no, if you're going to have 2 nights of WrestleMania, you can only have 2 main events. The last match of night 1 and the last match of night 2. So I think that was one of his hangups to begin with, was he never got that shot to main event a WrestleMania. The only thing that gives me pause, and I think Beef's theory of a Damian Priest cash-in the night after WrestleMania, it satiates that. But my only hang-up now is you're taking the workhorse title and you're putting it on somebody who, again, not throwing shade, has had a history of injury. And I don't think WWE wants CM Punk as the workhorse, because that leads to injury. Putting somebody of CM Punk's age, putting that weight on him, and the fact that you have to defend that title so much, that's so many more opportunities to get hurt. And if he's hurt, and if he's out, you're not making money off of him. So it benefits CM Punk and WWE, because CM Punk's hurt. He's out. He's healing. You're not making money. If they can give him that win, and then whether it's, the Raw after Mania or WrestleMania Backlash or whatever it is, get that title off of him and onto somebody who can be the workhorse. I think that's going to be best. It scares me a little bit to think like, well, you've got a part-time champion in Roman Reigns. Is CM Punk going to be your workhorse? He would have to be, because he's got the workhorse title. I don't think it's good optics to have both of your big titles very rarely defended or very rarely showcased. Sure, Punk could come out on multiple Raws and SmackDowns or whatever and cut promos and be visible with the belt. But I really truly believe that one of those belts needs to be almost constantly defended to make it worthwhile to the fans. That's my only hang-up of CM Punk winning the Rumble and taking the belt off of Rollins, is what happens to the workhorse title.
Well, and that's absolutely why I think it's going to be a short reign. Whether it be a day, a month, it's just like CM Punk. Like it's not a thing isn't good because it lasts. I think regardless.
A flower is beautiful because it dies, because it's ephemeral.
Exactly.
Yes.
Bottom line here is that, like, regardless if he goes out there and loses the title the next night to Damian Priest or back to Seth Rollins even, no one can ever take that Mania moment away from him. Which I think is, like, the one thing that's kind of missing from the Punk repertoire, the arsenal, his cachet, if you will. Yeah, he has the Money in the Bank win, which is great. 2 of them, in fact. And yeah, he beat Jericho for the WWE title, like, as champion. He defended it against Jericho. Like, yeah, those are all well and good, but, like, they weren't marquee. This, I think, is different. And that's why I'm saying, like, and honestly, like, I have the same thought process as you, Ransom. Like let's not do this. Like, don't put him in a position where he can, get hurt.
Put him in a position where he can be entertaining.
Exactly. And that's why I'm thinking, they still have that briefcase on El Senor Money in the Bank. Like, yeah, I think that's absolutely going to be something that comes into play one way or another. Whether it's the night of Mania, whether it's, the Monday after, Hell, it could even be night 2 of Mania. You know, maybe fucking CM Punk comes out and like the Judgment Day beats him up and Damian cashes in. How wild would that be? You know, a belt changing hands twice the same Mania. Like, you know, that's WrestleMania 9 fucking style of awesome there. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like that'd be a really cool kind of thing to do. I just feel like that's the ride that we're gonna get. Is Punk winning the Rumble and beating Seth Rollins for the world title. The other route that they go is have Cody win again and have him probably fail to beat Roman Reigns again.
I don't like that. I think that's bad. I think it's a bad call.
Which part?
Having Cody win the Rumble and fail to beat Roman again. Because at that point, it's like, okay, well, you won the Rumble twice. You failed twice. Are we really going to care a third time? I mean, I think he would get a big pop if he did wind up beating Roman in a third match. But I don't know. I think that damages him a little bit.
Absolutely.
I think that damages him, and I don't think that's a smart call to have Cody lose twice and then, you know, end up beating Roman Reigns like Survivor Series or even next Mania after that, Mania 2025. I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me, and I think it damages Cody, and it makes him look like a double failure. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I would prefer.
Could not agree more. I could not agree more.
If I had my druthers, my preference is if Punk beats Rollins, somebody fresh and new beats Punk, because I think that's a big rub. Even if Punk doesn't hold on to the belt for a long time, it could be the night after Mania, it could be the next premium live event after Mania. I don't think it matters the length of time Punk holds the belt. I think whoever takes the belt off of Punk is kind of like a made man. Not as big as, you know, say beating the Undertaker's streak.
It's getting a nod. It's more of a getting a nod than like getting a rub.
It is. It is. You know, like, oh, you're the guy that beat CM Punk, like the returning hero, like you beat him. And I think somebody fresh like Damian Priest. It'd be neat to see Finn Balor do it. Storyline wise, I think like, oh, the betrayal of Damian Priest. You know, like he did the old switcheroo. He betrayed him. Yeah, that'd be entertaining in a way. But Finn's held the title, not big gold, but like he's held one of the big titles. Damian Priest hasn't, and I think that nod of beating CM Punk, even if it is a Money in the Bank cash-in, I think that propels whoever beats him higher. And I think a new champion would benefit from that more than a previous champion. Like, I think it would do more for Damian Priest to win than it would for Rollins to get the belt back off of CM Punk at the next pay-per-view. And I think Rollins needs some time off. Like, he's been the workhorse. He's done his due diligence. He's done his duty. You know, he's made that title prestigious. He worked his ass off with it. I think he needs and deserves a little bit of a break and a freshen up.
Yeah. Excellently said. Excellently executed, even.
And, you know, here is something to consider. And I don't have finite numbers on this, so it could be nebulous. But so first of all, I want to correct myself. It looks like the WWE is factoring in the Universal Heavyweight Championship or the Universal Championship into the Hogan record. The Hogan record is 1474. Roman Reigns is at 12 whatever. So, there is an event coming up in 2024 on Saturday, August the 31st, called Bash in Berlin, WWE's first premium live event in Germany.
Oh.
Now,
Oh,
I don't know if you guys can think of any German or Austrian wrestlers who might be kind of hitting their stride.
I'm right there with you. Alex Wright.
Really be exactly
That's
the wall.
The
wall actually was what I was going for. But I mean, clearly Gunther. Could Gunther be the guy to beat Roman Reigns? Maybe.
Would that time frame put Roman over Hogan's limit?
Well, I don't know the exact numbers, so you're killing me here.
My only concern with that, as you figure out your numbers, my only concern is that some people, present company excluded, would consider that perhaps the same vibe as maybe whenever Jinder Mahal won the belt.
Why?
Because it's getting a certain demographic. It's getting a certain,
So it looks like if the dates are correct here, and if we're at 12-15 of Roman streak reign, he would need 259 more days. And that would take us to September the 6th. So literally a week later.
I don't think. No. I don't think they give it to him that long to not break Hogan's record by a week. I don't think that happens. I would not be opposed in my fandom to having Punk hold the belt from April to August and having Gunther be the one to beat Punk at that event in Berlin for big gold. You can have Punk's defenses be sporadic. He can appear on shows and cut promos. There is a way to make Punk still feel seen without having him work his ass off between April and August. And I honestly would not be... I would think... Damn it. I think at this point I'd be more of a fan of waiting until August and having Gunther be the one to dethrone Punk and win big gold off of Punk. Getting that rub, getting that nod of beating CM Punk, as opposed to having Priest cash in the night after Mania or whenever.
Yeah, but then
and beat Punk for that title.
What's the Punk on what's the fear of then Gunther winning the belt and then having Damian Priest immediately cash in on him?
If zero, because Money in the Bank contracts are only good for 365.
That's true. Okay, fair enough. I didn't do the math in my brain before I made a statement.
So, damn it. That's another wrench in the cog. I don't want to see a failed cash-in by Damian Priest.
Right. I don't think anybody does.
I think when he cashes in, I think he deserves to win. And they're not going to have him cash in and win off of Roman. Because
Why not?
How long is that title good for? Or how long is that briefcase good for? Through when?
July.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to do that though, because I think they're set on the Hogan record.
Maybe.
I don't think they're going to have him lose before the Hogan record. I just don't.
I just feel like it's I used the term apples and apples earlier, and it's looking back at it now, it is literally apples and oranges. Like you're comparing Hulk Hogan, who had the WWF title, and Roman Reigns, who had the Universal title, which eventually was absorbed into the WWE title. But like those two lineages are not the same. Like I just and then like again, Hogan defended it a ton more. To me, I just don't think that the record matters. Like it's like in the NFL, like of course, like now we're seeing all kinds of new rushing leaders and wide receiving leaders because they added an extra game. Like, yeah, of course you're gonna see some new stats because they added an extra game to the fucking schedule. Like, if you move the goalpost, does that change the achievement? I think it does. And I'm just not. I think that there have been parts of Roman's reign that have been captivating. I think that him and Lesnar having their matches a couple years ago were really good. Um, I think that him and Owens had a series of really great matches. Him and Rollins having that great match at Royal Rumble here a couple years ago, and then obviously the Sami Zayn stuff. But that's all to say that there have been some huge fucking valleys in the Roman Reigns tenure as well. I don't. It's just a number. Like and it's just the only reason it's a big deal is because they're making it a big deal. And I've said this several times, like it's like they're acting like Backlund never held the title.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna put in the history of books Bruno and then Roman.
And that's a
where the
shame
fuck did Bob Backlund go?
Yeah, but that's a shame unto itself. But that's a whole nother discussion. That's an entirely another discussion.
I'm just saying, like, if you're cooking the books for history's sake, is and I mean we have to be careful at how much we tug it because
Fucking book cooker.
because obviously it's a fake sport that's predetermined. So like what records do matter, honestly.
Let's say it's a real sport that's predetermined.
Right, sorry. But like you get my point though. Like
sure, yeah.
At what point do these records actually matter? And we as smart marks understand that it's not about the athletic competition, but more about the trust that a company has in you to let you carry the belt for 4 years.
Right.
So I don't know, man. Like the whole thing is just built on a house of cards and means very little to me. It would have a bigger impact if Roman Reigns does lose to Cody at WrestleMania this year. Here's the only wrench that I can think of that may ironically save this whole thing is if The Rock comes back and faces Roman at WrestleMania this year.
I just want you to know how much I hate that.
I hear you.
I just want you to know. I want it known. And you've also angered the pee out of me. I gotta pee again. That's how long we've been going, by the way.
I know.
I gotta pee.
I understand it.
Finish your thought.
I peed twice.
I understand it. I get it. I completely am on board with you. But my mind just keeps coming back to The Rock on the fucking Pat McAfee show. Nope. McAfee. Nope. I said the right way the first time. Damn it. McAfee.
Sure did.
Where he was talking about wanting to do something special. And I kept hearing the word special in my head. I'm like, oh, WrestleMania 40. That's pretty fucking special, all right. But instead of Cody eating another loss to the fucking tribal chief, which would be heart-wrenching and dumb as hell, have The Rock lose to Roman. Really kind of the only other thing that Roman needs to do, I think. I don't know how you then get the title to Cody. I don't want to wait for another WrestleMania. So, like, maybe he wins it at SummerSlam, Survivor Series, one of these fucking off-kilter events that happen, after September the 6th. That's a possibility. It absolutely
Less
is.
of a big deal, though.
It sure is. And it's absolutely going to feel that way. It's absolutely going to feel like less of a big deal. And I know that they've been making SummerSlam a big deal, but, man, to not have Cody Rhodes win that belt at WrestleMania, what a fucking travesty that would be.
So I have an opinion that you guys might not disagree. You might. I think a lot of wrestling fans might disagree with. But I think smart marks might not. I don't know. Talking claptrap at this point. The Rock has been an actor and out of wrestling for a very long time. Yeah, he's jacked. But he's been out of wrestling for a long time. Is it that big of a deal if Roman Reigns beats The Rock here and now? Like, you're having a guy in his prime, essentially, in Roman Reigns, beating a guy who hasn't wrestled in how long? Is it a big deal? Like, I get it, it's The Rock. The Rock was a big fucking deal in wrestling, but he hasn't been for a long time.
I think it would have meant more last year or the year before.
Yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know that The Rock... I don't know. I just don't know that it is that big of a deal. Like, oh, this actor from Hollywood is coming back now, and he's going to wrestle Roman Reigns. And oh my gosh, Roman Reigns beat The Rock. He beat The Rock. Oh, The Rock hasn't been in his wrestling prime in a very, very, very long time.
Right, but he's still one of the greatest of all time. And Hogan versus Rock at WrestleMania 18 still worked. I don't care what anybody says to me. Hogan versus Rock at WrestleMania 18 was absolutely an amazing feel, an amazing match, and just
sure,
the moment was just out of this world. They tried to replicate that with Cena and The Rock. It didn't go over because I don't think people organically were into Cena, and it didn't work. The Rock was some sort of a weird tweener. And here, But
are people into Reigns at this point?
I think there are a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell you one thing. I think if The Rock comes back, I guarantee you that Philly crowd is going to be at worst 50-50.
Yeah.
At worst. Because a lot of people are on the same thought process as you guys. You don't want to see The Rock back. But again, you cannot deny the dude's chops.
No, he does.
He is one of the greatest of all times, and I think that it could absolutely be a changing of the guard situation here.
Look, if they don't care about numbers for Reigns' title reign...
Oh, they do.
Well,
I may not, but I guarantee that they do.
I don't know. I think at this point, Roman has run his course with me. And I would be honestly happier to have Cody versus Roman at night 2 and Cody win than to see The Rock versus Reigns.
Okay, but let me do this, though. What if Cody versus Roman happens on night 2 and Cody loses?
No, I don't want to see that.
Would you rather see that or The Rock lose to Roman Reigns?
Shit. I'd rather see The Rock lose, honestly.
Because it is a milestone.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns beating one of the greatest of all time. And it saves Cody. Does that mean that we get another 365 with Roman as champion? Probably. Are they going to keep it relevant? I don't know, man. Like, after Sammy left the bloodline this year and the whole thing the wheels fell off, I really became disinterested in Roman Reigns.
Well, I think it's, and I don't think it's out of like poor programming or anything like that. I think it's just because we're like, there's long-term storytelling. It's a combination of multiple things. He's never around. There's long-term storytelling, and then like, meh. You know what I mean? Like it literally is that. I hate to like oversimplify it that way, but it's true. There's long-term storytelling, and then there's like, okay, let's fucking get on with this. Like, you know what I mean? Like
I've reached that point.
Yeah. Like no one, if he loses, it's not gonna like, it'll be in the moment. I think it'll be a shock, but then people will immediately get over that shit. Like, people will just be like, oh, okay.
I think Roman can ride the high of beating The Rock for a month or two. But then after that, it's like, okay, well, it was a big deal at Mania. Roman beat The Rock. He beat one of the greatest of all time. Now what? I mean, I hate to sound like CM Punk, but like, now what? Who else do we feed to Roman at this point? They're running out of people to feed to Roman Reigns.
Yep.
Excuse me. Until you start getting into young, hot talent that should not be losing. It becomes a detriment to them.
They've already snuffed out. They've already snuffed out two of the hottest wrestlers in WWE this year, in Sammy and LA Knight. And you can say, but sure, Sammy won on night one of WrestleMania in the main event with his best friend, and that was super cool and everything. But like, what's happened since?
Well, and that was going to be the butt. Like, yeah.
Like now LA Knight's probably going to be on that same fucking track. Like, maybe he's part of a 4-way match at Royal Rumble for Reigns' title.
Man, and that bums me the fuck out. God, that bums me out. They fucked that up, man. They fucked that up so hard.
Honestly, it wouldn't shock me if Roman doesn't defend his title at Rumble. It really wouldn't.
No, they've already announced it that the SmackDown, not this week, I think, but next week, they're having a triple threat match for Roman for the person that's going to challenge Roman next.
Oh, okay.
And it's probably going to go fucking sideways, and it's probably going to be a fatal 4-way with Orton, AJ, and LA Knight taking on Roman. But yeah, it's just like, we're absolutely to that point, and I think that they've cut their nose off to spite their face, to borrow a phrase, like, to get this stupid Hogan, to get the record that they were looking to get, that they got, and now could easily just drop the ball, drop the fucking title at WrestleMania to Cody and do the right thing and make everything kind of better. Now they're getting greedy.
Yeah.
Because we were kind of over it last year at WrestleMania. If Reigns wins again, super fucking duper over it. And especially if he loses it between WrestleMania 40 and WrestleMania 41, at that point the whole fucking thing is just tits up.
Yeah, like, what's it been for at that point?
But if we have to endure another fucking 365 of Roman to get to WrestleMania 41, the whole thing tits up too. So they're literally, if Cody or whomever does not beat him at WrestleMania this year, they're literally in a no-win situation.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think it all depends on what they do with the World Heavyweight title. I think you can kind of forget about Roman Reigns holding that title for another year if the World Heavyweight title story is compelling and interesting and you can't take your eyes off it. Like if Punk wins at Mania and then who challenges Punk? Like, what's it going to be? And Gunther wins in August at Germany. And then he's the new hot world heavyweight champion. And who's going to fight Gunther now? I think if they play their cards right with the world heavyweight title and that becomes the most interesting title to watch, I think you could get away with Roman holding his belt until next year's Mania. I think it all depends on what you do with the world heavyweight title, because if you can make people really care about that one, that becomes the title to watch. And Roman can sit back in the shadows, defend his belt once every 3, maybe 4 months. And people will be not completely accepting of it, but more accepting of it to get you to Mania 41. But I think that also all hedges on who faces Roman this year at Mania. If it's The Rock, okay. I think you have wiggle room. You have something to play with. Don't put Cody in that match though if you're not going to plan on having Cody win. If Cody loses to Reigns at this year's WrestleMania and they try to get him to Mania 41, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to work. I think you have too many people out there that are in Beef's camp of this should have ended. There's no way Cody should have lost twice. We don't want to see it anymore. I think you give Roman that go away heat, the heat that you don't want if he beats Cody a second year in a row at Mania.
Yep. And then I think it'll be an important story to watch. Also important though is wrapping this shit up because Jesus, we've been talking a while. Poot.
Yes.
Sorry. It's been a minute. Give the people what they want.
I didn't hear that first part. That was weird.
Was Discord being fucky because the noise was so loud.
Fuck. Poot.
There we go. Much more succinct and much more nice.
Say something stupid.
There is a podcast that you listen to. It was quite a lengthy one, but it was good because we got caught up and we did a lot of things and we said a lot of stuff. It was good. Wrestling's good no matter where it is. I enjoyed it, and my friends are here, and we said some stuff. Tom was really quiet this episode, which is kind of weird. Maybe he'll pipe up next time. And we hope you all have a wonderful new year. We hope you all feel real good. We hope you all are doing cool stuff, and you make nice... you make nice things for yourself. So there you go. All of our sponsors are in the link on the YouTube down in the bottom, and then they're also in the description for the audio one, which I'm all caught up on. So as long as I stay on top of shit, everything will be fine. It'll be great. Thank you to everyone. Casual Gaming Dad. Make sure you check him out. He's a great guy. He does awesome streams, and he does a lot of great things. Thank you to Sean Tischler. Sean, we love you, and we need to get to an independent show in 2024. Beef the Legend is awesome. Ransom is the madman and just a delightful boy. Last time I checked, I was Poot the Bard. Hold on, let me look at my things. Yes, I'm still Poot the Bard, and Tiger Bomb Tom is still Tiger Bomb Tom. Until next time, remember, when life shuts a door, open it again. It's a door. That's how it works. Thanks, everybody. Bye.